Imagine it's the year 1500. You know nothing about the future. There is no British Empire, no industrial revolution, no global superpower called Britain. Someone hands you a map of Europe and asks a simple question. Which country will dominate the world over the next 3 centuries? England would probably be one of your last choices. France was larger. Spain was becoming unimaginably wealthy. Portugal was opening new sea routes across the globe. The Ottoman Empire controlled some of the world's most important trade routes. England was just a small kingdom on the edge of Europe. So, how did this ordinary island become the centre of the largest empire in history? At the beginning of the 16th century, there was very little to suggest that England would one day dominate the world. It wasn't Europe's richest kingdom, it wasn't the most populous, it didn't have the continent's strongest army. Its economy relied heavily on agriculture and the export of wool. Compared to France or Spain, England looked small, almost insignificant. If you were looking for the next global superpower, this island would have been an unlikely choice. And yet, the world changed. For centuries, the centre of European trade had been the Mediterranean. Cities like Venice and Genoa grew rich by connecting Europe with the markets of Asia. The Ottoman Empire controlled many of the key land and sea routes between East and West. But at the end of the 15th century, everything began to shift. In 1492, Christopher Columbus crossed the Atlantic. Just 6 years later, Vasco da Gama reached India by sailing around Africa. For the first time, Europe's greatest opportunities no longer lay inside the Mediterranean. They lay beyond the Atlantic, and suddenly, England was no longer on the edge of Europe. It was facing the centre of a new world. Geography alone didn't make Britain powerful, but it gave Britain something no other European power possessed. An island is difficult to invade. While kingdoms on the continent fought constant land wars, England could focus elsewhere. Instead of maintaining massive armies, it invested in ships. Instead of defending long borders, it defended its coastline. Every generation of sailors gained experience. Every new voyage expanded Britain's knowledge of the sea. Over time, the ocean stopped being a barrier. It became Britain's greatest advantage. Most European powers measured their strength by the size of their armies. Britain made a different choice. Instead of competing for control of the continent, it competed for control of the sea. Shipyards expanded, navigation improved, new generations of sailors crossed farther than ever before. Every voyage strengthened Britain's position. Slowly, the Royal Navy became more than just a fleet. It became the foundation of an empire. Yet ships alone could not sustain such power, but they could protect something even more valuable: trade. British merchants crossed the Atlantic, reached Africa, India, and eventually East Asia. Every successful voyage brought back more than goods. It brought wealth, experience, and influence. Ports grew larger, cities became richer, banks financed even more expeditions, trade funded the navy, and the navy protected trade. It was a cycle that became stronger with every generation. But Britain discovered something even more powerful than warships: a company. In 1600, Queen Elizabeth I granted a small group of merchants an exclusive charter to trade with Asia. It became known as the East India Company. At first, it was simply a trading business, but over time it built its own army, controlled entire territories, collected taxes, and negotiated directly with kings. At its peak, the company ruled tens of millions of people. It wasn't just a business, it was a state inside an empire. Then came another turning point: the Industrial Revolution. Britain wasn't just trading with the world anymore, it was building the machines that powered it. Steam engines transformed factories, iron production exploded, textile mills produced goods faster than ever before, railways connected cities, steamships crossed oceans without depending on the wind. Industrial power made Britain richer, and that wealth built an even stronger navy, creating another cycle that few nations could match. By the late 19th century, Britain controlled territories on every inhabited continent. Nearly a quarter of the world's population lived under the British Crown. Around a quarter of the Earth's land surface belonged to the Empire. From Canada to India, from Australia to Africa, British ships connected a global network unlike anything the world had seen before. People began to say, the sun never set on the British Empire. But no empire lasts forever. The same global network that made Britain powerful also made it vulnerable. 2 world wars placed enormous strain on the British economy. Maintaining a global empire became increasingly expensive across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Independence movements gathered strength. One by one, Britain's colonies became independent. By the end of the 20th century, the empire had almost completely disappeared. Yet Britain's influence never truly vanished. English became the world's dominant language. London remained one of the planet's most important financial centres. The legal system, parliamentary democracy, global trade, and institutions established during the empire continued shaping the modern world. The empire disappeared, but many of its foundations did not. History rarely belongs to the largest empire. It belongs to those who changed the way the world works. Britain didn't become the biggest nation, it became the nation that connected the world. And that's why, centuries later, its story still matters.